When I got out of the military, I had a hard time translating my military experience into the civilian world. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably would have been that homeless or impoverished vet. But it can be easier with the right support. I'm Mark Casper, and I'm the Executive Director of Tech4Troops. In today's world, you have to have a computer to be able to apply for jobs. Our mission is to empower veterans in need with computers and training to get back in the workforce.
Here at Tech4Troops, we're here to push you forward to get you back to where you want to be in life. When the veterans come in, I teach them everything you could think of that's done with a computer. I want them to feel that this is a tool that's going to help them get their life back.
I went into a kind of a deep depression. Eventually, I lost my job and I was out on the street. The computer was able to connect me to the web, and I was able to start putting resumes out. And you have to have these small building blocks to get from point A to point B. I'm not worried about employment anymore.
The need is great, and we want to be able to support our veterans across the nation.
All right, welcome everyone to the Tech4Troops Cup Series. Tonight we are in Atlanta, the old Atlanta, for the final race of the round of 10 here on the Tech4Troops Cup Series. I'm Rick Souza here in the booth with John DeRutris. John, the season is rapidly coming to a close here. We are in Atlanta for the last race before we go to Phoenix.
We are, and this race is going to determine our championship 4. So will we have a driver lock themselves in, or are we going to have a non-playoff driver win the race? We don't know. It's going to be up in the air, but last week, an exciting race, a lot of playoff drivers having some issues. So we'll see what happens tonight as we are one race away from the coveted championship next week. Right now, we have qualifying about to get started. And tonight, we are not, like Rick said, we are not the new Atlanta. We're at the old configuration, the configuration that I think a certain fan likes, and I think it's a great track. I think it's definitely adds some skill element to it versus the new super speedway style. So let's talk about the race. 80-degree air temperature with 120-degree track temp. That's hot. 125 laps tonight. Pit road speed, 50 miles an hour. No quick repairs as usual, 3 sets of tires, 60% fuel, and 3 green-white checker restarts. Rick, 120 degrees on old Atlanta, and this track that just is basically like a cheese grater. I'm kind of worried about how these tires are going to last.
Yeah, it's going to be super hard. That right front is going to take a lot of abuse. Depending on how you run. This is one of those tracks where you just cannot run the high line the whole time, so they're going to have to get down there. There's lots of there's lots of seams in this track. There's lots of bumps. It's super easy to come off a pit road and and loop it around these. If you haven't run this track in a while because you've been kind of spoiled, this will really make you pucker.
Yes, it will. And right now we are about to see some of these lap times show up, excuse some of the telemetry and some of the overlays. We have had a couple issues, so bear with us. But right now they're accurate, and James Lowe is at the top of the board. Fastest lap of a 31.626. Chad Jones, Caldwell, Gray, and Peters round out your current top 5. But Rick, looking at where we are, we still have, 9 potential drivers that can lock their way into the championship race.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and look at the driver standings. So right now, Chris Worrell has won. He has got himself punched in, but right there, that cut line is right there with Lilith Peters. You got James Lowe and Chuck Van Scoik there, right there. Again, they're in on points, but again, if someone new wins this race, that will still leave at least 2 drivers in the race. Also, a non-playoff driver could win. That means everybody points their way in. But look at the numbers from third back, 263, 3063 to 3058 for Lilith Peters. Sammy Harrell's out by 2 points. Nathan Harper out by 4 points. Christoph Hall out by 8 points. Ty Bostic is right there. Really, pretty much everybody 8 on up. Well, really, for that matter, everybody has a way to get to the final in Phoenix if they win. Some drivers just have a great race and get in, but just on points.
Yeah, the biggest loser last week, unfortunately, was Lilith Peters, your reigning champ here in the Tech4Troops Cup Series. Had a not great day, which is now putting her in threat of losing that. I mean, she's, 2 points away is Sammy Harrell, 4 points away Nathan Harper, 8 points away is Christoph Hall. So, Ty Bostix has been running up at the front. You also have John Ledger and Aiden Lucas as well. So, Rick, I think this championship is up for grabs. I mean, you're going to have 2 drivers in on points at minimum, and potentially 3 on points, but one may make it in with the win. It's really close to call. See the 50 sliding right now to turn 4. See him go through the grass and see some of the dirt kick up, and that's due to the new update that just got released a few days ago by iRacing. There's a lot of cool features that were added, a lot more detail to iRacing, so an even better product for all of you fans out there that watch and tune in. But Rick, right now, Nathan Harper out front, James Lowe, Chris Worrell, Justin Lewis, and Wyatt Gray.
So not only is there a driver championship, but there's also team championships. So right now, you've also got Team Rocket Racing out there in front with 1,702, pretty insurmountable lead, but the battle is still on for Kaiju Cat and Southern E Motorsports right there. And Goat Racing could potentially leapfrog over and change position, but the team championship is not nearly as important, but almost the same level of importance. These drivers and these teams work hard together. They practice together, and there's cash and prizes. Those team winners.
Absolutely, there is. Absolutely. So I'm very curious to see how the teammates are going to work together this race, because it's not like a typical race here at Atlanta. This is old Atlanta. You can't draft. You got to be up at the front, or you're going to get potentially caught in the back. But Rick, I think we are getting the grid ready. Looks like they're making their way onto the front stretch. Let's see if we can get our starting lineup for race number 3 of the round of 10, the last race before the championship race. Brought to you by Tech4Troops and Goat Racing Diecast. On pole is Nathan Harper, with James Lowe starting in second, Chris Worrell and Justin Lewis starting third and fourth, with Wyatt Gray rounding out the top 5. Andrew Pileshi starting in 6th, Lilith Peters starting in 7th, Christopher Howell starting in 8th, Aaron Jackson in 9th, and Chad Jones rounds out your top 10.
Sammy Harrell finds himself in 11th with Maxwell Caldwell to his outside in 12th. Justin Horton in 13th with Christoph Hall in 14th. Chuck Van Scoik in 15th with William Corinne II in 16th. Garrett Johnson is in 17th with Ryan D. Cook in 18th. In 19th, Jeremy Flanagan and Luke Bullard in 20th.
In 21st, you have Philip Vandertwick with Dustin Coggin in 22nd. Pete Woodrum in 23rd, with Ty Bostic starting in the 24th position. in 25th, you have Mr. Marco Berube with Aiden Lucas starting in 26th, Scotty Grove in 27th, Zach Allen in 28th, John Ledger in 29th, and David Watts 30th. John Ledger, playoff driver, did not put up a time, neither did Aiden Lucas. Tall task to come all the way from the back to get it done.
30 drivers here on the second to last race of the season. John, that's pretty impressive here with this Tech4Troops Cup Series. Great turnout, lots of drivers. Competition here has been extremely fierce among these drivers.
It really has, and I'm excited to see who's going to master this track that and the configuration that NASCAR does not go to anymore. Obviously, they still go to the track, but it's a super speedway. It's going to be like Atlanta of old, because it is old Atlanta in these cars. I'm very curious to see how it's going to go, because these drivers probably haven't raced on old Atlanta unless they sought out to do it. But in all the officials, it's new Atlanta. Rarely do you ever see the old configuration.
Yeah, the new Atlanta took out a lot of the characteristics that the drivers did come to know in this track. The familiarity to the bumps and dips in the track, those are gone. The way that the apron meets the racing surface, that's changed. The banking has changed. The surface has changed. So really, old Atlanta, new Atlanta, go two completely different tracks. As we said, this is the original, this is the OG, and these guys are back at it. It takes a deft hand and a very careful throttle to get yourself around here. It's not quite as fast, but it is way slipperier.
Way slipperier, especially when you have 120 degrees built in and caked into the track. So you're going to see these guys and girls slipping around all race long. But Rick, we have the moment I think everybody's been waiting for. This is going to be the start of the penultimate race here. And green is in the air. I forgot it's really early here at Atlanta. Green flag, tires spinning already. A
little bit of a tap there with 6 and the 4. We are just...
The 4.
Yeah, 4 was not ready. I guess for that restart, he was backed up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it caught him by surprise, and he had to get in the throttle quick, and tires just spun. That is very characteristic of old Atlanta, as we now see the 07 of James Lowe take the lead here early on lap 1.
Oh, already the 91 of Andrew Palesci sideways and dirt tracking. That's expected. Out of turn 4, it is so easy to do that. If you're on the throttle just a hair too quickly, you're going to loop that car around.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna take a toll. And I had a pre-race prediction of when the first caution would come out, and it's not because of the skill. It's just because these cars don't go to this configuration anymore, and these drivers are going to be slipping and sliding in turn 4 all race long. We'll see if they can make it out of the corner here already on to lap 3.
Did we cover your keys to tonight's event?
We did not, but we can dive into them really quick. So number 1 is going to be tire conservation. At old Atlanta, it's all about the tires. You have to take care of them. You cannot burn through them. You can't run the top the whole time. You have to conserve your tires for the long haul. Second is going to be pit strategy. With old Atlanta, you have the old pit road. It's not new pit road, it's old pit road. So you get out of turn 4 and you make your way down. So making sure you're pitting at the opportunistic time is number 2, and also track positioning. Old Atlanta screams track position now. You can counter that if you start at the back by saving your tires. But again, Atlanta is one of the hardest places to save tires. Like I said in the pre-race, it's a cheese grater out there. It's tough, but those are my 3 keys. We'll see here in about 10 laps, really 10 to 12 laps, who's been saving their tires better than others and who's going to make their way through the field. Too early to tell, Rob. We got side by side right there. I think that is the 48 or 46 there, next to the 3.
Yeah, look at this is towards the back of the pack. This is like 20th on back. Up at the front, they've settled down. They're kind of single file working their way around, but back of the track, these guys are trying to grab every single position they can, and it is kind of hectic back here. 2 and 3 wide. This is not a good way to get around this track. It's going to be hard.
It's going to be really tough. I mean, when you get side by side, the inside car just goes and drifts all the way up due to the air at this old configuration. So we've seen drivers get into each other when they took the air off the car in front of them. You're about to see that happen right now, 3 wide. This is not good.
That was Luke Bullard tapping the in the 3, tapping the outside safer barrier here. He saved it, but he almost wound up back in traffic.
Yeah, it's when you get up way too high, it's almost like if you're stuck in the wall at a lot of tracks. You just can't get out of it. It's the same thing here. When you get up too high in the lane, it just doesn't want to let you go. So he lost a couple positions there. Still side by side. There's the 72, Mr. Jeremy Flanagan.
Up in front, James Lowe continues to lead with Chris Worrell. Teammates, first and second. Nathan Harper is right there in third. Recovered well from his what happened at the start. Not sure exactly. We can ask him at the end. We try to figure out just what happened on that start. Wyatt Gray right there. Bringing up our tower. And as you can see with the different colors, that driver with that gold outline around their name, that they have locked themselves into the playoffs, the championship event in Phoenix. Those drivers in blue are the round of 10 drivers. If they win, they put themselves into the championship event, but they could also get there on points.
They definitely could. As we start to see the battle still side by side in the back of this pack.
Yeah, jumping on back to the pack, pretty much 91 on back. Started with Andrew Valeschi. This is just these guys they're a little bit separated by maybe 10 or 12 car lengths from the main pack, but they're trying to get back up front. But then behind them, man, it is hard. It is too wide here. And we are 10 laps in, which is the beginning of the end on when we'll begin to see some of this grip go away on this tire.
Yeah, you saw there was contact right there with the 18 and the 81. 18 drifted up, got into the side of the 81. Looks like everything obviously going, 81 in the wall. Well, there's a broadcaster's curse. That is on me. Happens every race, or at least once a race.
Yep, that's William Corinne. So as we were just talking about, around this time, the grip begins to go away a bit, and unless you've run this track before and you know what to expect, you're really going to change your entry and exit points into 1, out of 2, and especially as you apex those turns, because if your drive line isn't spot on, you're going to wind up just plowing up the side, up out of turn 2, and you will slam right into the outside retaining wall.
You most definitely will, and that's where I think some of the experience is going to come in. Some of the more veteran drivers will probably be up near the top of this field as we take a look at Scotty Grove right there in the 55. I think you're going to see experience pay off here for sure.
So 13 laps in, do we have an idea as to where do you think we'll be looking at pit stops?
I expect, since it's a 1.5 miles, I expect anywhere right between, really it's close to like 30. Well, yeah, I would say close to 30. We've been kind of off on the calls recently, but it might be closer to 35. So I think that window will start to open around lap 30. Some drivers want to make it down pit road because you could split it 30, 60, 90, or 32, 64, 96.
Are we still 60% fuel?
Yeah, still 60%. So it might be near that 32 to 35 range.
Yeah. For some reason, my calculations is looking a little bit higher. If I assume 10.6 gallons at, depending on, now obviously mileage here, I was thinking around 5.5 miles per gallon. That gets us around 58.5, mile-and-a-half track. What's that, 38 laps till it's empty?
38.
So I think 35 is probably a good number that we should see. So 20 laps, but that's fuel. and these guys will try. Already contact right there between Scotty Grove. And I think that was Zach
46
Allen.
of Ryan D. Cook.
Nope, Ryan D. Cook. You're right. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, these cars are starting to slip and slide now, for sure.
Yeah, up at the front, all of a sudden it's gotten kind of quiet up at the front. You got James Lowe out in front. He has got Nathan Harper behind him. He moved his way around. Chris Worrell picked up in second. Now you've got Wyatt Gray now challenging up under Chris Worrell for that third place position. Not far behind, the 50 of Justin Lewis, and Christopher Howell is right there.
He's battling up there. He's had a good couple weeks here. Got the win last week.
So the 71 just slipped back. One of the things that you will see here at this track, especially here at Old Atlanta, is that you can easily use up your stuff as you're trying to desperately get around somebody. You're hard charging. If you overheat that right front, and maybe not even wear, but if you just build a lot of heat up into that right front, you will find yourself unable to turn and get out, and you will wind up just having to back out of the throttle to help to ease that car out of these corners.
For sure, and we're going to see really who's going to be the master of this tire saving. Right now, looks like they're falling off about 7 to 9 tenths a lap, depending on the driver. Last time by, Nathan Harper was 2 tenths faster than almost everybody on the track. I'm looking through the times. You got Sammy Harrell, that's competitive. Chad Jones, Maxwell Caldwell actually was the fastest last time by. So you see some drivers in the 4s, some drivers in the 6s. As we see, I think the 18 slammed the wall.
Yeah, you're right. I was just about to say, this is about that time. You're 20 laps in. Your car is not going to turn. You're going to find that you're going to need to back out of the throttle or reevaluate your line in and out, because what you did on lap 5 ain't going to work on lap 20.
It's not. And I think that 18's pretty damaged. I mean, it looks like he's kind of sliding through the corners.
Yeah, he's got some right front damage. And as we said earlier, there's been a recent update to iRacing. They made a lot of changes to the damage model to obviously to continue to make this more and more realistic. And in doing so, they're at the point where more than in the past, as they assess the damage, you will not be able to continue. So you better be super careful about how you drive here and be way more cautious than you were before.
For sure. See a car in the grass. I think that was the 10 of Aiden Lucas there. All good. He's staying in the right direction.
Yep, so Zach Allen also took a little spin through the grass as well.
But 20 laps into this race, and we already over a second fall off on these tires. Leader 1.2 slower than his fastest lap, 32.9. So
but Nathan Harper has regained the lead. He just went around James Lowe to retake it. So long run speed, chalk that to the win column for Nathan Harper. He was able to reassess and then get back out there and get his way around the 07. Oh, Chris Worrell super loose there. He almost lost it.
This is the track where it's going to test your patience. It's going to test your reflexes. It's going to be an attrition just filled race the entire time. I'm very curious to see long run who's going to win this. Right now, Justin Lewis fastest out of the top 5 that last time by. He's in a little bit of a draft, so but he's running that high line all the way up towards the top. Might pay a little bit down the back stretch, so we'll see what he's able to do. We are a fifth of the way through this race.
Keying our eyes on the 50 of Justin Lewis, and yep, Highline dips down below there as he bisects the front stretch. Then rides the Highline. You're up in the marbles there a little bit. In fact, we can actually ride on board for a lap or so with the 50 of Justin Lewis. See, he's out of the throttle, kind of working his way through the corner. He didn't get back into the throttle until he was all the way, had that car straight.
That's wild.
Just a little throttle there. Then back full throttle after he got that car's nose pointed down that backstretch.
He's doing a great job. I mean, he's the fastest car on the track. Doing an awesome job here.
You can tell it's slippery. You can see that little orange tab on his steering wheel as he's coming out of that corner. He's having to counter steer a little bit to keep that car from spinning out. You've got to turn into the spin to keep that nose pointed in the right direction. But he has caught these leaders.
He's there. He's running consistent too, which is what I like to see as he has a little bobble.
He is right on the ragged edge though, coming out of turn 4 each time.
For sure he is.
All right, 28 laps in. Nathan Harper making a valiant effort here to retain that lead right now, but he's got pressure from James Lowe now going right there, but right behind Justin Lewis is banging on their door.
He's there too. So, I mean, this is a kind of anybody's race at this point.
Oh! Just there,
Big
coming
slam
out
into the
turn
wall.
4. You just
Oh,
saw
he's
it.
cutting down.
Oh,
New grass is coming back up, Rick. You were right. Oh, no, never mind. I thought, the way that car was looking at, I thought he literally was going straight into the wall or into the cars.
he's got some damage on that right front that it's not. I think it's really affecting his ability to now make that to drive that car.
Yeah, I don't see any meatball flags or anything, but he definitely has some severe damage on that right front. He goes right back up to the top, though.
So as you can see, even from our track map in the upper right-hand corner, we haven't had any stops. No one's been in the pits as of yet. But the field is spread out, and they're spread out because this is not an easy track to drive. You can see the 15 of Garrett Johnston, Aaron Jackson the 12, the 54 of David Watts. That's the tail end of the field. It's just a hard track. So this field of 30 drivers has kind of broken up into about 4 or 5 different groups as they try to negotiate their way around this track. We're watching again. That's Justin Lewis now dropping back to 9th. He's tagged the wall again. I think as we talked earlier about using up your stuff, building up heat in that right front by charging up. He was there. He did all he could, but I don't think he had enough.
I don't think he did.
Second one of Wyatt Gray on pit road here at lap 32.
Yeah, it's early. Kind of on my earlier side of this, lap 32 of the stint. Curious to see if he's going to go 32, 64, 96, and then go the rest of the way. That'll be a 29-lap run to end the race. Right now, James Lowe out front, Nathan Harper in second, Christopher Howell in third, Chris Rell in fourth, Andrew Pileshi in fifth, Will Peters in sixth, Chuck Van Scoyk in seventh, Justin Lewis, Maxwell Caldwell, and Chad Jones rounds out the top 10. If you've enjoyed what you've been watching so far, whether it's live or on the replay, definitely hit that subscribe and hit the like as well. I've heard that the people over at YouTube like that a little bit, and we like that too. So we'd like it to be shared with as many people as possible. So thank you all for tuning in, no matter how you're watching. But right now, we are a little over a fourth of the way through this race, Rick, and clean so far and solid racing.
That's right. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You won't miss a thing. We'll be going side by side.
Hello, my name is Jack Raymondson. I manage business development here at Tech4Troops, and I'm my second year with this amazing veteran nonprofit owned and operated by veterans for veterans. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps as an amphibious assault crewman from 1992 to 1996. I also served in the U.S. Coast Guard from 2002 to 2007, joining after 9/11 as an operations specialist, then serving as an instructor at Coast Guard Training Center, Yorktown. I also spent many years as a first responder volunteering as an EMT and fireman. I'm here at Tech4Troops because I believe in our mission to empower veterans and their families with the gift of computers and technology training, as well as our outreach to help curb veteran suicide while providing a safe and meaningful community where veterans are treated with respect and dignity. We are aiming for zero veteran suicide through gaming and other program opportunities. We help veterans regain a new sense of purpose and help them see they have a brighter future ahead of them. It truly is an honor and my pleasure to serve my fellow veterans and help give them a leg up. 2024 is Tech4Troops' 10th anniversary year, and I ask that you help us support our veterans and their families with a computer donation and or greatly needed financial contribution so we can help every last veteran in need. Together, you and Tech4Troops can be change makers. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the IWM broadcast of the Tech4Troops Cup Series here in Old Atlanta. We are in the last race of our round of 10, and right now we are beginning to see pit stops happening. We got Justin Lewis on pit road, Ty Bostic, William Corinne Jr. See the 50 there of Justin Lewis coming in.
Looks like we got 50 speeding on pit road. Oh no.
Yep, that 50 of Justin Lewis is not going to be happy with that. Oh, Chris Worrell locked it up coming onto pit road. Hopefully he did not get caught by the officials for speeding.
He's found a way to get on the pit road and not get caught. I want to know his trick. Because
Yeah, exactly.
he comes in gliding every time. I mean, we've covered this the last couple races. I've had to check my side every time, but like, hey, is there a penalty? But I don't see any. So shout out to you, Chris, for, just getting literally every single inch out of it. Did he take right sides only, or was it right and left?
Right and left, yep.
Right and left, got it. More drivers on pit road.
James Lowe is still out there. This is lap 39.
Wow.
This is very interesting because there is a way, if you're focused on fuel mileage, you've got to get, here he comes now, but he got 40 laps.
40, 80, 120.
Yeah, still shy, but if there's a way to come in for a splash of gas.
He could, but how much are you going to lose on the back end? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we saw some drivers who haven't pit yet. Lil Peters, Christopher Howell, Chuck Van Scoik, Maxwell Caldwell. Are they thinking they
If
can?
you can go to 42, you can make it happen.
Theoretically, the math is mathing there. We see two drivers in right now. I believe that is Christopher Howell, Maxwell Caldwell, Sammy Harrell, but Lilith Peters still out there in the front. Chuck Van Scoik still out there. What do they know? Uh-oh, is she out of gas? She's out of gas. She out of gas. I thought she was pulling down like she was out of fuel.
She's got to come in. She's got to. I mean, this is the 42nd lap, though.
Here it is. She got to that mark. So
Chuck Van Scoik, Lilith Peters, both in on lap 42.
I love it. I love the idea. I think if you can make it work, do it. It's very risky because you have to go one extra lap at the end. 42, 84, 124. you got to basically go that extra lap or save enough. But they've gotten through the first part, so that's mission number 1 done. 2 and 3 is what they have to focus on, so we'll see. But actually, I take that back. Jeremy Flanagan hasn't pit.
What? He has not. Oh, she almost spun out. She did spin out.
Did she hit the? Is there a bump in one coming out of
Yes,
pit road?
there is. Yep, absolutely. Oh, in doing so, she really compromised the 23 coming out of pit road.
And Jeremy Flanagan just dropped down on pit road. There he goes. So that might leapfrog Jeremy Flanagan up to the lead at the end of this race. Wouldn't that be a shock? That'd be a flip of the field.
Oh, he just overshot his pit.
Well,
that's not going to help him.
That take back my statement. Well, that's two curses, Rick. It's your turn now. I can't keep on carrying the weight over here with all these broadcasters.
And his what's that? Insult to injury. He was also caught speeding.
Ah, man.
So the 19 of John Ledger caught speeding this round, and the 72 finds itself parked. But it could be worse. He could get that back if he tries to make it. It was close, but Wyatt Gray finds himself out in front. Now, Wyatt pitted last on lap 31. He's on a little bit different strategy. He went in early, so that put him on fresher tires than everybody else, and that has allowed him. Let's kind of bring up the gap information here, which is now all over the board. As you can see, this field completely spread out around this track. Now, Nathan Harper also went in slightly early on lap 34. He is right there, just about 1.6 seconds behind. He's in his rearview mirror. And then once you get past Nathan Harper, everybody else was lap 38, 39, 40, so a real blend.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this race plays out, just due to those pit strategies all over the board. I mean, really all over the board.
Yeah, I can't tell you which one is the better at this point.
If it's me, I know he's, well, I don't know, it's tough. You think, okay, you got Jeremy Flanagan, who's on that strategy of 42.
Yeah, but he's now a lap down.
Right. You have, though, Lilith Peters and Chuck Van Scoik on 41. I think they're technically 42. I think they're in the best spot to make this a 3-stop instead of a 4. Because, you already have these drivers. Like Wyatt Gray, he's going to have to pit 3 more times.
Yep.
Just the numbers won't add up. Because if he goes 41, that's 72. If he goes 41 again, that's that math?
This is all predicated on the fact that these drivers there'll be no caution laws.
Correct. I guess, excuse me, a 2-stopper instead of a 3-stopper. Excuse me.
I think we've got some data we can bring up with.
Yeah.
So here's that pit strategy we were just talking about. This has your top 10 shown here. And you can see the differences. The blue at the tail end of that is just the current stint that they're in now. But you can see the variances of these drivers taking different approaches.
Yeah, I mean, you see some drivers that are down to 34, 31. I mean, it's a lot of good data here that shows you how hard the drivers are running and what they estimate on fuel. So
now, if we
I'm very curious to see these cars.
If we expand that detail, which we just did, you now show those drivers. You see line 12, Peters and Chuck Van Scoik at 11th. They're at 41. So this is very interesting how this could all play out.
Right now, let's take a look at some of our biggest movers of the race. At the point, which is one of our biggest movers, is Ty Bostic. He is plus 17 all the way up to P7. So shout out to Ty, doing all he can, making up 17 spots here, going all the way up to 7th place. Second biggest mover, Scotty Grove, up 13. Third biggest mover is Aiden Lucas, up 11. They're sitting in 14th and 15th respectively. So,
all right, good racing so far amongst these drivers. We're 52 laps in here at Old Atlanta. Again, this is the final cut race here in the round of 10 before next week, which is our final here for season 5 in the Tech4Troops Cup Series. Again, you're seeing 30 drivers battling it out here at Old Atlanta. Again, we'll cut that down to 4, and then the best finish wins the Tech4Troops Cup Series Season 5. Up at the point, Nathan Harper is now taken over the lead. Nathan was on the pole, slipped back a little bit early on in the start of this race, but found himself back up at the front, and he has worked his way back up to the lead here. Now, if I bring back up the current driver standings, you can see that Nathan Harper sits just a few points out, but he needs this win. That will just allow him to be able to cement himself. He won't have to worry about points anymore. He'll get in on the win.
which will be huge. I mean, it'll be really huge. One driver that's not having the day that she's wanting is Lil Peters back there in 12th currently. 4 playoff cars sit in front of her that are still eligible to win and get in. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle. One of those big names, Ty Bostic up there. I mean, he's right there in 8th. Those points matter. James Lowe as well, Nathan Harper. This is going to be a tight battle to the end. Obviously, we have almost not quite at halfway, but we're almost there, about 10 to 15 laps away. So still a lot of racing left, but started up in P7, kind of dropped back a little bit, but putting the heat on 23 of Chuck Van Scoik. Now, these are the 2 cars that we were talking about that are on that alternate strategy, trying to go as long as they can.
Yeah, Chuck's pretty far up in the points. He's sitting in 3rd. Lilith is sitting in 4th. You know, what Lilith needs is she's do better than Sammy Harrell, who's sitting back in 16th, and Christoph Hall. Those are 2 drivers within striking distance point-wise, and right now, that's okay. Those drivers in front of her, Chris Worrell, James Lowe, Nathan Harper. Well, Nathan Harper is obviously a teammate, but if Nathan wins, that only leaves 2 spots available.
Yep, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So we'll see what happens. Because where's Nathan again? Is he 3rd?
Nathan is actually in. Let me just bring up. I think it's 5th.
5th?
No, 6th. Nathan's in 6th.
So that would almost knock Lilith out of the playoffs if he won. So it's going to be close to the end. So
yeah, she will need to find herself significantly ahead of Chuck Van Scoik and close to James Lowe.
Right.
To try and cement her position in.
Right. Yeah. This is why this format is so tough, because it comes down to the last race, and now you're focusing on, okay, the points. How far do I need to finish ahead of these specific drivers? Okay, if another playoff driver wins, how far back am I? So it's all a big cat and mouse game right now.
This strategy that the 23 and the 01 are on, hitting last on lap 41. Right now, they are the only drivers that were able to make that work. Jeremy Flanagan did, but unfortunately that mishap on pit road has relegated him down, I think, 2 laps.
Yeah, that's a tough break because he could have been the prime one in that spot. But the way that these two cars are running right now, they've been somewhat drafting together. Chuck, I think, is saving more fuel than Lilith is, so you could see this 23 car maybe try to go 1 extra lap on the back end of this.
Let's get a look. Let's ride along with Chuck and see if he's doing anything to be more saving fuel. Let's go. Oh yeah.
He's clutched in right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so he knows. He knows it. He knows what's at stake. He's probably not going to clutch in this turn because he's going to probably want to get around this 3 car. Yeah. But he's
out
basically,
of the
yeah, he's double dipping here. He's getting a draft off the 01. That's effectively extending his fuel run. Then he's clutching in the corner right there, which is basically saving him a third a corner of fuel. So if you do that every lap, that's basically 2/3 of a corner. Thinking about rough math here, that's probably about 15% of a lap. So
every 10 laps, he's saving a lap.
Yep. So I mean, it could work out very well in his favor towards the back end of this race. And that's really rough math. I don't know off the top of my head. But there he is, clutched in again. He's in a great spot right now. For
On
sure.
board with Lilith. Let's see what she's doing.
Goes in the corner, still in the throttle, obviously passing cars, so might affect the way that she drives a little bit.
Nathan Harper on pit road.
On lap 64. There's Chad Jones in the 50. Now this is for position. We're going to go to the inside here. Nice crossover move by the 01. Able to make the pass.
Puts Lilith up to 7th. Nathan Harper stays on the lead lap. Luke Bullard now the 3 on pit road. Puts James Lowe up to the point. Now he pitted last on lap 39. If you say, okay, well, can you do 39 again? We should see him at 78. But I don't think you're going to see these guys at 78.
I agree.
Well, you got to figure that first of all, the start of the race, you don't start off, out of the blocks at full speed. You're basically a pace lap, so you're not using as much fuel.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You're exactly right.
So we'll see how this is actually the most telling pit stop. Now, for those folks that are trying to make it all the way, that's the 01 and the 23. They're trying to duplicate that 41 to get to, in effect, 42 laps. So that would be 80, 84. They need to get to 84. This has been a very interesting season, John. We've seen a number of races here, especially these races that have gone with significantly long green flag stints where fuel mileage and the cleverness of these teams have really played well for them.
It has, and I'm curious too to see, correlating that with lap times. I mean, these fuel mileage races, they've been somewhat consistent with what we've seen. The 23 car and all the GOAT racing guys, they typically like to fuel mileage, race more than others. Same thing with Kaiji Cat Motorsports. There's some teams here that do it very, very well. Even the 07 and the 06 tend to have a great fuel strategy. So couldn't have asked for a better start to this one, as we are now a little over halfway through this event. See a pass being made right there.
We are up to lap 70. We expect to see drivers in our rough math. We don't have access to their telemetry exactly. We're trying to figure out what they're doing. Lap 78 works, but if they know they're going to have to come back in one more time, then they may not. And just like that, there's your leader on pit road. He doesn't have to gamble. He's just 70 is it, and now I'll just split these last two, 35. He's got 55 laps to go to finish this race. Now, one thing we may see, John, is on that last pit stop, some of these drivers may just come in, splash of fuel, and then right sides only.
That could be it. That could be something that we see. And if we see that, that might shake up everything, because here I like 4 tires, 80 laps on even the left sides. 18 in the wall just a little bit. Saw it on my damage screen. Yeah, it's close. I don't know. Not taking lefts. I mean, it depends on what the wear is. I mean, if it's more than 50%, or heck, if it's even 40%.
Yeah, that 18 has some pretty significant right front damage.
I'd be worried about the life of those left front tires, because if the left front blows, I don't know if you're going to save that car. You might. I mean, the grips, it's not like you're losing a right front or a right rear, so you could save it, but it's risky. But we are now on lap 74. Pit stops slowly happening as we speak. Out front, though, is the 88 of Christopher Howell.
Oh, super loose, the 06 of Chris Farrell. He was dancing right there alongside the 91 of Paleschi. The 91 of Paleschi riding that high line. You saw some success there earlier on with Justin Lewis, but I think that is a very interesting strategy. I think there's a lot of extra wear happening on the right rear up there when you run that high line.
For sure.
Ty Bostic in on pit road here. .75 laps in the books. Now Christopher Howell pitted last on lap 40. So we saw James Lowe make it to 39 originally, and now he's at lap 70. Let's bring up that pit strategy detail. Lowe is in that list of drivers. That's just the top 15. He's sitting just outside in 17. But those drivers who have pitted, you saw Harper, who did it 34 laps, then 29 in this last stint. You see Gray, 31-31. That seems to be his strategy. Lap 77. See the 06 of Chris Worrell rather, on pit road. James Lowe is at the tail end of the lead lap. He's getting his lap back. That should put him in the pit strategy window. Yes, there he is. So again, 31 laps in that second round of stops, but looking at your top 11, 10 there, all of those have eclipsed that 31 laps in that second, and they still have yet to come in.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be close. It's a close call here. I mean, the 2 versus the 3 stop. It's risky, Andrew Pileshi on pit road. It's very, it's risky. I'm very curious to see how these drivers are going to do. You're going to see probably the 2 leaders, Christopher Howell, Maxwell Caldwell, come down pit road first, followed by Lilith Peters and Chuck Van Scoik, who Chuck Van Scoik has been right behind Peters good 20, maybe even 30 laps. So
they've now worked their way up to third and fourth.
Yeah, it's going to pay off. For that 23, it's going to pay off like crazy. And I think he'll have a great lap even at the back end of this. And I think he could, with as much fuel saving as he's doing, he may be able to stay out just a few more to really push this. If we get a green, white checker, Christopher Howell and second place right now on pit road of Maxwell Caldwell. Going to give the lead back to Peters and Scoik. And this is the question. When are they going to come down pit road? Came down 41 going to 42 by the math. That means they would come down pit road 43 going to 44. So they still, or excuse me, 82 or 83 going to 84. So we'll see
next time
when they come down. Yeah, it'll be next time by.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network.
Hi, America. I'm Mark Castro, President of Tech4Troops. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you for making 2023 such an amazing year. We completed our mission, and it feels good to have another successful year behind us. But I want to tell you, this year, 2024, is our 10th anniversary. 10 years of doing this mission, and you have been so supportive of us. So I want to take a moment to say, please continue to support us. We're going to have an event or more every month. Please stay tuned in our calendar. Please stay tuned on our social media. Join us in the celebration of our mission and what we do. And we look forward to seeing you and having your support for our mission of ending veteran homelessness through bridging the technology divide. Look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back to the Tech4Troops Cup Series here. We are focusing on Lilith Peters, Chuck Van Scoik. They are now at the 42nd lap of this stop. Justin Horton may have crashed, and the caution has come out with John Ledger spinning.
Uh-oh.
Lilith Peters went down pit road, then got out.
Will they have enough fuel to make it around, Rick?
I don't know. Chuck Van Scoik is out of it. My guess is he is. So an incident right here at a very important spot during the round of pit stops due. A number of drivers have not come in. Well, let me rephrase that. Two drivers have not come down, Chuck Van Scoik and Lilith Peters. But does he have fuel to keep? You don't want to run out of fuel here in the caution lap.
I think the 23 will have enough fuel. I'm worried about the 01. Will the 01 have enough fuel to make it around? Because she was in front of...
She's coasting now. Her engine's off.
Is pit road open?
Pit road's
closed. No, it's not open.
You just saw the red lights there. She's going to get a penalty here for coming into a closed pit. So is Chuck Van Scoik. He came down.
Might just be... It might be...
May have opened for him.
Have Justin Horton a meatball flag. Tough break for the 18.
Caution's out. I don't know if Chuck came down a closed pit or not. We'll have to see. You'll know better than I.
Light wasn't on. Yeah, the light wasn't on, but I don't see any penalties, so. But there he goes.
So does Lilith. She is out as well, but that penalty would be assessed on the restart.
I don't see any penalties right now on
All
my
right.
end, so they might be good. But there's a caution, literally right when they needed it.
Jeepers.
To make it to go to the end.
These drivers, really, those two drivers, Lilith Peters and Chuck Van Scoik, who will start in 4th and 5th, do not need to stop. They both pitted lap 84, but also who came down here, Nathan Harper came down also here on lap 84, as did Wyatt Gray and James Lowe. So all this strategy, well, Lilith Peters came back down again.
Yeah, tops off. I mean, I get it, but I would rather have track position, honestly, versus pitting again. Because if you're caught up in the back now with a multitude of different strategies, I mean, leader, but last on lap pit road, or last on pit road lap 77, second place 78, third 64, 84. So you have a lot of different strategies on tires. I'd rather be at the front.
Yeah, can Andrew Pileshi and Chris Worrell save enough fuel to not have to come back in? They came in on lap 77 and 78. Going on board. This is Worrell. He's in second gear. He's not really paying attention. Well, I take that back. There you go. He is off.
Looks like caution has been extended. I'm not really sure why. Caution has been extended one more lap. See some more takers down pit road.
That's Dustin Coggin and Christoph Hall. So right now at this stage of this event, we have got 13 drivers on the lead lap. Of those 13 drivers on the lead lap, a number of them are playoff drivers. And just looking to where they are currently, it's going to be super tight as to who makes this. We'll see how this all plays out. But again, the 23 of Van Scoik does not have to stop. The 71 of Wyatt Gray does not have to stop. Nathan Harper does not have to stop. Scotty Grove, who's now up to 6th and 7th, he doesn't have to stop. So there's now what was a simple strategy of just 2 drivers. Now it's going to be about 6 or 7 who can make it without stopping.
For sure. And Lilith Peters is all the way up in 9th, Rick, but she's back in like the 10th row. I mean, I like the call, but I would value track position a little bit more. But here we go. Pace car is going to dip down. We're going to get a quick green flag here. Green back in the air.
Oh, the 3 spins. Lose it. Luke Bullard hasn't pitted since lap 64. He was on some well-worn tires there.
Well, it showed for sure.
Watching back in the field here, they're 3 wide. You've often heard us say cautions breed cautions. We don't want that here, as these drivers are on the home stretch to finish here at Old Atlanta. Oh, 3 wide.
No.
Lilith Peters.
Lilith got to the 81. 81 comes back up the track. Can he save it? And Rick, that's exactly what I was talking about. You start in the back, you could have these issues. The 01 who came down pit road, now sitting all the way back in 13th, but there are more cars between her and the leader than that, because you have some lap cars in front of her too, Rick. That is not what the 01 needed.
Nope, she now finds herself in 13th. There are 23 cars on the lead lap, finds herself mid-pack right now. But she's got a long way to go to bring up that gap She is currently the last car on the lead lap,
Oh,
7 seconds out of first. So only 13 cars on the lead lap.
there's probably a good 20 cars in front of her, though. So, gosh, that's a tough break for the 01.
Nathan Harper just turned a 31.72. Get Nathan Harper and Wyatt Gray in the 71. Those are the first two drivers who do not have to stop.
Yep, Chuck Van Scoik is in 5th. While we're talking about where drivers are, let's talk about our biggest move of the race right now. It's actually Scotty Grove, P8, up 19 positions on the grid. Great run from you, Scotty. Shout out to you.
Get the old hard charger award, right?
Exactly.
To bring that back for next season.
That's an idea. I think we should do it.
All right, up front, no stranger to the lead. Chris Worrell finds himself out in front. His teammate James Lowe in the 07, a little bit farther back, currently in 6. Oh, the little bit of, that was a 24, I think, of Zach Allen. Super loose there. Got Sammy Harrell right beneath him. That's 14th and 15th there. Battle back in the pack. A little contact there with the 03 that they're wrecking.
Oh, 24 is wrecking. 43 is wrecking.
Oh, up,
Come on, go!
takes out Christopher Howell.
That is rough. I'm sorry, but that's rough.
Oh,
watch
right.
out!
Jeremy Flanagan.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So
We just saw a lot of not good things right there, Rick.
yeah, no, they were battling side by side. Zach Allen, the 23, and Sammy Harrell. There was some contact with the 43 into the left rear, possibly. Let me go back and look at that real quick. So you see the 24, he's right on that seam. He is crowding down a little bit, but kind of moves back up, and there is some contact right there between these drivers.
Yeah, 43 got up a little bit. 43 is still there.
Right there.
24 came down a little bit. 24 comes back down. Obviously loose there. 43 is on the bottom side of the track. 24 is here. Still in the gas, gets into the 88. Tough break for Howell. And as we speak, we got cars on pit road, Rick.
We do. All right, so cars are on pit road. Number of drivers, including Chuck Van Scoik, Scotty Grove, Ty Bostic. Looking at the times, those guys all took tires and fuel. So there's now no question. He's got fresh rubber back out there when he gets back on the track. Only our second caution of the night here, John.
Not too shabby. Not too bad at all.
No, pretty impressed with this league and these drivers. You've got 30 drivers out here. Only one has retired. Number of drivers have been in the pits for an earlier incident. They've been in for a bit, but for the most part, just some good driving here.
Very good driving. Been impressed all race long. And we're in for a treat here for the last 28 laps, so don't tune away. If you got to this point, don't go to sleep. I know it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, I guess it could be 7, but
Pretty
still
much,
early for y'all.
This round of pit stops has pretty much taken that pit stop issue off the table. Now this is all about position and racing.
It is, and it's about to get hairy. And I think your statement before, cautions breeding cautions, Rick, I think it's going to be pretty relevant here. So we still have some confusion a little bit on further in the back with how the drivers are lining up to 10. Yeah, we have some confusion going on between who's supposed to be where. I think they're going to get it settled before we get the green flag underway. Yep, I think we're going to be good.
All right.
But we
do have an interesting battle up front between Nathan Harper and Wyatt Gray. These drivers have an incredible I rating. They're both over 5,500. That's in pretty unique company there. But good start by the 4, able to leverage it better than his first start.
It is, but Rick, they have 10 lap holder tires.
Oh, you're right.
That's 11 to be exact. That's going to be a thing to look at. Another thing to look at is 3 wide for second place. 06 goes down low. He's there. Oh, he slides. That was close.
Yep, it's still 3 wide.
Yeah, he drove that thing in there hard. That 71 is on those older tires, trying to do everything he can to keep that 06 behind him, but that 06 is going to have the grip, especially on corner entry. You're going to see it right here. See the 06 just be able to drive in just a little bit more.
Fresher tires.
Get alongside that 71. Now the 06 cannot waste those tires trying to get around them, because that outside line is going to have the draft of the 91. So Chris has got to be patient here.
Yeah, there's still 26 laps to go here. Don't burn him up in lap 1. Got to find that balance between, certainly we've seen it, you can't run that high line all race. It just chews through your grip.
And I think here he goes. Yep, he's able to get around. So Chris Farrell in, I think, the prime seat. I think he is in a great spot.
And really, if you're Lilith Peters, you're back there pretty far. You're cheering on Chris Farrell because that frees up another spot. If someone new, one of the playoff drivers, wins this race, that makes it even harder to get in.
It does. Let's see if we can bring up that pylon and see where all the playoff drivers currently are in the top 10, top 15. Because that'll tell us and give us a good sign. Yep, Nathan Harper out front. Obviously, her teammate James Lowe and Chuck Van Scoik, Ty Bostic, still the same 4 drivers that have been in front of her the majority of the race. We also have Philip Vandertruck right there. Everybody else is 1 lap down or more. So still battling up here. Still going to be very close to the end.
But Sammy Harrell is down in 20th, 1 lap down. Christoph Hall 1 lap down. Ada Lucas 1 lap down. Those guys, all playoff drivers, they're in trouble. Lilith Peters in 12th. She's got some work to do. Big movers. Bostic is up to 7th. He needs way more than that.
Yeah, he has to win, really.
Yeah, yep. Stick up. Ty Bostic is there. He's got 30-45 point-wise. That he really needs to win this race.
He made his way up to 6th, though.
He sure has. So he's got James Lowe ahead of him in the 07. Ty did go in the pits at lap 95, so he is on fresh tires. And that's a challenge for position right there for the 22.
That is 1 more point. It's a big point, too. And looking at his tires, he is on the same strategy as Chris Worrell. So now, it looks like he only took 2, because I see 7 seconds as a stop. So I'm very...
Ty Bostic was at 15.23.
excuse me. I was looking at Andrew Pileshi.
Yeah.
He took 2 then. Well, there you go. Well, there's the answer there for why the 91 is getting passed right now by the 22.
That
Moves
puts
Ty
Ty
Bostic
Bostic
up there.
up to 4th. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. This will be our last one of the day. Again, you won't miss anything. We'll stay side by side.
Are you looking for a way to safely and securely dispose of your old electronic devices? Why not donate them to Tech4Troops? Tech4Troops is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to bridging the technology gap for in-need veterans and their families. The donation process is quick and easy. Simply go to tech4troops.org and click on the donate link at the top right-hand side of the page. Scroll down to access the Give Back Box link. To create your shipping label, click Add to Cart and complete the checkout process. The shipping label is good for up to 50 pounds. You can recycle most standard shipping boxes to send in your devices. Oh, don't forget the power cords. Give new life to your old technology by responsibly recycling with Tech4Troops. Help save the environment and support a veteran.
All right, welcome back to the IWM Broadcast Network. Here we are bringing you the Tech4Troops Cup Series final race of the round of 10 before we head next week to Phoenix. Right now, Chris Worrell has worked his way around Nathan Harper to take over the lead. Ty Bostic now finds himself back in 3rd. This is what he needed.
Ty Bostic is hoping that the 4 can challenge the 06, which I think you're about to see them go side by side out of turn 4 right now. The 06 is right there with the 4. That gap has closed down to 0.7 of a second between the leader and Ty Bostic. Ty Bostic all the way from the high line with 17 to go, trying to get that run. You see that gap start to shrink now down to 0.6. Going to be down to 0.5. Oh, we got a battle on our hands right now between the 06 and the 4. I think the 4 is going to have less grip out of the corner here, but the 22 is getting a tow from the 4. Oh, this might be a battle between the 22 and the 06 by the end of it, Rick.
It absolutely could be. That's what the 22 needs. He needs to find himself out in front. He needs the win.
Can Ty Bostic do it? He's going to have to get around the 4. The 4 seems to have lost the draft to the 06. Here comes down 22, running that middle lane. Not quite there on the 4. Going to get a run off the corner. Now 15 to go. The gap is 0.4 of a second between Chris Worrell and Ty Bostic.
Ty Bostic has 11 lap fresher tires on that 22, and he's using that to his advantage. 15 laps to go. He needs every 10th to get around this 4.
I think he's going to try to do it here. It's going to be bold because he's going to go side by side. He's got to clear the 4 quick. If he can clear the 4, he has a chance. But if the longer he battles side by side, the farther that 06 is going to drive away. I think he might be able to get him on corner exit here. He has to pull the slide job, slide up right now. Slide, slide, slide. 4 got into the wall. 22 wasn't able to do it. That's going to pull the 06 along. Oh, boy.
It's close.
Ty has to win to get in. Ty's got to slide up here in front of the 4. You got to do it. And he still can't do it. The gap is growing now. It's almost 0.5 of a second, Rick.
The only way is going to be to get past the 4, but the 4 is in the same situation. These guys both need to win to get in.
He slid. Ty Bostic lost it there.
That little slide may have sealed his fate. We'll see what he can do.
He's going to have to force the 4 into the... Oh, I think Ty slammed the wall. I think Ty Bostic slammed the wall right there because here comes the 15 of Garrett Johnston. Here, Ty, you got to regather. Focus back on trying to get around the 4 car.
Chuck Van Scoik is there as well.
Oh, caution! Caution!
Justin Lewis, I think, was involved.
Oh, boy. With 12 to go, what do you do? What do you do? Do you have enough tires?
Good question. Don't know. Let's try to get a replay on just what happened. We're going to watch the 50 here. I think this is on the 50. We'll see.
Oh, he's up in the marbles. Yeah, he's up against the wall.
Christoph Hall is beneath him. He's super loose. Running through the grass.
Still through the grass. Oh, he's going to kick it right here.
And you can see that damage mile now has put grass on the track. Yep, I think that's what happened. All right, number of cars on pit road. Andrew Pileshi, Lilith Peters, Maxwell Caldwell, Philip Vandertwick, Sammy Harrell, Christoph Hall, Justin Lewis, all on pit road.
Who's taking 4? Who's taking 2?
Everybody's taking 4. All right, our third caution of the night comes out at lap 10. So that puts Chris Worrell with Nathan Harper to his outside or inside, where he chooses, Garrett Johnston, and Ty Bostic. So Ty could find himself, depending on this shakes out, either behind Worrell or Harper.
He could. Now, the issue is here, there's going to be cars that are on 20 lap, almost 30 lap pressure tires. I don't know how long these drivers can keep these fresh tire cars behind them, but it's going to be close. And the driver to pay attention to is that 01 of Lilith Peters. Watch out for her. And watch out for Maxwell Caldwell as well.
Yeah,
He's
both those drivers will have, as you said, nearly 20 plus lap pressure. Basically, brand new on old.
Oh yeah, yeah, brand new. I'm kind of shocked that more cars didn't come down pit road, but I think the strategy is that those cars in the front are like, you know what, there's going to be another caution. I'm going to stay out. Hope this goes to a green-white checker where I only have to defend a car for 2 laps instead of 9. But if that caution doesn't come out, you got to defend these cars for 8 solid laps. And I mean, with the way the racing's been, Rick, it's a bold move. It's a bold move, but I mean, it could work.
So this is an interesting lineup. You've got Nathan Harper to the outside, Ty Bostic behind. Historically, restarts have not been their best event.
Correct. So we'll see. We'll see what Chris and Nathan do. But here we go. Coming to 8 laps to go. This could be the final restart of this race. All right, green flag in the air. 04 spun it.
Four spins tires.
We're 3 wide. We're 4 wide on the front stretch, Rick. We're wrecking in the back. We're wrecking in the car against the wall. Car flipped upside down.
How did that car flip upside down?
You know, I wasn't a physics major, but I don't know. I really don't know how he flipped.
That was Dustin Coggins in the 42.
I'll have to replay that one again.
Watch the 42.
That's squeezed between 2
Scotty
cars.
Grove. Oh, right there.
Oh.
We're over the back of Scotty Grove.
It reminds me of Ross Chastain. Remember his wreck when he hit? Was it Kyle Busch that he hit? Where Ross flew up into the air like that. He didn't like flip over, but he just caught air. Tough break.
Tough break for the 42.
Well, there's caution number 1. We're probably going to get green with probably 4 to go. Maxwell Caldwell up to P6.
This puts Chris Worrell in front with Ty Bostic starting behind.
Oh,
and
boy.
Just as we stated, Nathan Harper did not have a good restart. We'll go back and look at that restart.
Yeah, he definitely spun his tires. It's not the first time we've seen that happen for that 4 car. It's right when he hits the gas.
Yeah.
And you see them, they're about to go 4 wide here.
Stacked up everybody behind. Look at that outside line. 55 right into the 91, and that was the start of the chain reaction of that last incident. All right, if you're just tuning in, just a few laps to go to call this one done. Chris Worrell out in front. Nathan Harper is in second. Ty Bostic in third. Both Nathan Harper and Ty Bostic, I believe, have to win to get in.
I think they do.
Chris Worrell already has a win notched in his belt. There are only 4 drivers that will compete next week for the championship. 1 slot is filled, 3 to come out of this race. Lilith Peters now finds herself in 9th, Chuck Van Scoik in 8th. All right, by the time we go back, will be 4 laps to go here. Again, we're going to watch this from inside the 22 on this restart.
The key is that the 22 is starting in 3rd and not 4th this time. And that's going to fare very well for him because he knows that 06 is on the same tires as he is, so he knows that 4 might spin his tires. It's happened multiple times tonight, so I love where the 22 is. The question is, can they keep the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell behind them? Same thing with Lilith Peters.
Yep, both he and Chris Worrell tires last on 95. Nathan Harper, Wyatt Gray to the outside, both on lap 84.
All right, here we go. Pace car is going to dip off. We're going to get 4 to go at the line. Green flag in the air. 4 spins his tires again and wrecks. We're wrecking. 4 wide, we are wrecking. Big wreck at the start-finish line.
Oh my gosh,
massive.
The entire field.
Yeah, the entire field got caught up in that one because of
we
the
got to
tire
go back.
spin.
Sorry, folks. We were focusing on that battle and had no idea we would see this kind of craziness at the green flag. All right, we're watching this restart here. Big stack up on the outside. The 4 comes down into the 22. 4 wide here. 22 is just spun.
Really, it was the 15.
Yeah.
It was really the 15, but the 4 obviously caused just caused the initial, the 4 and the 22, because it looks like they both kind of came in. One went down, one came up.
Yeah, the 15 nudged the 22.
And you're going to have black flags here because, Aaron Jackson, you got Meatball, Justin Horton, Dustin Coggins, Andrew Pileshi. And then you have the whole field just torn up here. The whole
There's
field.
no place to go. They're completely boxed in. 22 was slammed by the 50. He's
Yeah,
got some major
I,
damage on that car.
yeah, I don't know what. I mean, the 22 I thought was gonna be okay.
Wow. That is not, no one expected that. No one.
Yeah, yeah, I was not expecting that one. I mean, I'm watching the replay, Rick. The 50 didn't brake and just drove right into the right rear of the 22. I'm just kind of confused on that one. Typically, I don't call some things out, but there was no brake.
Right.
There was no brake.
Well, a lot of mistakes to be handed out and go around. I think at this point, admin just wants to let's finish this race and let's move on.
For sure, there's so much happening there. There's only so much you can do with that. But right now, we have the 06 and the 71 up front. Nathan Harper in the 23, and right there in 5th place on the fresh tires, Lilith Peters. But Philip Vandertwick, too, on the fresh tires, Rick.
Yep. Unfortunately, Philip is out this round of the playoffs, but as you can see right there, Harper, Van Skyke, Peters, all 2, 3, 4, and 5. They all need a good finish today to remain in the top 4 for the cut for Phoenix.
Absolutely. I'm going through that replay again. It did look like the 50 was slowing down, but gosh, I'm just watching everybody. It was like a roadblock.
Yeah, it's a
for
mad
everybody up
world.
there.
Yep.
It was. So we'll see if we get another clean restart here. We've had a couple tough ones back to back, Rick, and that's what this track did. We even saw it on the start of the green flag on fresh tires. Restart be a little bit treacherous. So I'm curious to see how these drivers are going to handle it this time. But here we go. Pace car is going to dip down. 3 laps to go now, 2 to go at the line. Green flag in the air. Everybody is going in the right direction so far.
Good jump. That puts Lilith Peters behind her teammate, Nathan Harper there.
And here we go. The 01's down to the inside of the 4.
She's got the fresher tires. He's back by a bunch. There, Nathan Harper took tires on lap 84.
Yep. Oh, Lilith is in a prime spot. Here we go. 1 lap to go. Can the 01 catch the 06 and lock herself into the playoffs? I think if she finished where she was, she would be automatically locked in no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. She's going to do fine here.
So it doesn't matter if she wins or if Chris wins.
That's correct.
They are locked in regardless. It's just a matter of, okay, is she going to get the she's sideways going into the corner. She is loose.
Yeah, James Lowe has got the most to lose here because now he's back in 10th.
Oh, we're clean at the flag. Chris Rowe wins. Lilith in 2nd. Wyatt Gray comes home in 3rd, I think.
Yep.
By 0.07 of a second.
Nathan Harper finishes in 5th. Van Skyke 7th. James Lowe 11th. You'll have to do the math on those points. But there's your winner, Chris Worrell, here at Old Atlanta.
He won it again.
He won it again.
What a
All right.
run.
Results are in.
All righty. Chris Rowe brought home the win with Lilith Peters in 2nd. Wyatt Gray in 3rd. That's your top 3 podium finishers. We're going to interview all 3 of those drivers. so don't tune away. Philip Vandertruck in 4th, Nathan Harper in 5th, Maxwell Caldwell in 6th, Chuck Van Scoik in 7th, Garrett Johnston in 8th, Luke Bullard in 9th, and Aiden Lucas in 10th.
In 11th, James Lowe. 12th is William Corinne II. Scotty Grove finishes in 13th. Marco Bruby in 14th. Sammy Harrell in 15th. Christoph Hall in 16th. Chad Jones in 17th. In 18th, Jeremy Flanagan. David Watts in 19th. Good showing for David. And Ty Bostic, unfortunately, finishes in 20th.
In 21st, you have Justin Lewis. 22nd, Pete Woodrum. 23rd, Andrew Pileshi. 24th, Dustin Coggin. 25th, John Ledger. 26th, Christopher Howell. 27th, Zach Allen. 28th, Justin Horton. 29th, Aaron Jackson. And Ryan D. Cook in 30th.
All right, we'll look for Wyatt Gray here in a minute, see if we can get some interviews. Well, here we go. Let's see if we can bring Wyatt Gray into the broadcast booth. Wyatt, congratulations on your P3 finish.
Thank you.
Man, pretty much a wild finish. We were pretty much of a fuel strategy and a conservative race until it wasn't.
Yeah, I took my last set of tires right at that first yellow so I kind of thought I was screwed, but then once we kept getting those restarts, everyone was spinning the tires, and I was able to keep it clean and get the P3.
Absolutely great finish. So congratulations again on your finish. Any shout-outs tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Origami Studios, 42 Racing UK, and Factory Setups. Got them on the car this week.
All right, congratulations. Good to see you up in front, Wyatt. Congratulations on your P3 finish.
Yep, thank you guys.
You got it. All right, with that, let's try to bring in Lilith Peters into the broadcast booth. Lilith, congratulations on your second place finish.
Thanks, Rick.
Man, we saw that earlier incident and then we're like, man, can she come back? Can she do it? And then we thought you had it figured out. You and Chuck both you were doing those amazing fuel mileage runs. We thought you guys had it all figured out, and then obviously things changed.
Yeah, I wish it would have went green, but can't have what I wanted, I guess. And then I'm glad I saved that tire set there.
Yeah.
Because I could have took my tires, but
no, that
I
definitely
kind of figured that happened.
Yeah, around your changing of tires around lap 115 made a huge difference because when you wound up, you were competing against guys who had nearly 20 lap old tires for sure.
Yeah, except for Chris, he's just too good. I can't beat him regardless, but I'll take a second to Chris.
Well, that definitely though assures your place. We're still trying to get the points finished and tabulated, but that for sure, I believe that's got you locked in.
Should be, unless you get a penalty for something, I guess.
Well, I know we can't see the smoke over in the admin booth, but I think that Elliot's tabulating as we speak, so we'll get those numbers hopefully. Oh, he's got it. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so Championship 4, Chris Farrell, James Lowe, Chuck Van Scoik, and Lilith, you're in there as well, so you made it.
Yeah, I'll have to give it my best next week. We'll see.
Absolutely. All right, any shout-outs tonight, Lilith?
Real quick shout out to Luna Steak Sauce. You can buy it at foxfirefoods.com. Thanks to my teammates Chad, Jeremy, and Nathan. Nathan was going for it. Trying to do it for Dale there, but oh well.
It was close.
And thanks for broadcasting, Rick and John. See y'all next week.
Sounds great. Thanks again. That's Lilith Peters. She finished here in second. Let's go ahead and bring in our winner into the broadcast booth. Chris, you did it again.
I did it again. What's up there, Rick? How you doing, man?
We're good. I tell you, it was John and I were going back and forth. We're breaking out the calculators, trying to figure out whether this is going to be purely a fuel mile event. But then it changed. Then everything went out the window.
Yeah, it sure did. Got lucky. Definitely been on the better side of these lucky races. Hopefully it'll happen again next week. So I definitely wasn't going to win that if it stayed green from the beginning. I started off, was just driving way too hard. Nathan was really fast. Him and Wyatt were really fast. They got to the lead and took off and pit, I think, at the right time, and where they were looking good on the win there for sure. But, I mean, the caution happened. It helps me out. Didn't help James out. I'm hoping James will make the Final Four there.
Well, we have the results, and you're correct. James Lowe did make the cut.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep, so it's yourself,
Let's go, Aunt Mary.
James Lowe, Chuck, and Lilith for the Final Four.
Cool. That's who I figured it would be if it came down to this. This whole race, like, I was not expecting that, just because as good as Nathan did, and then Ty to be there at the end. I asked him if he was gonna Dale Earnhardt me into one of the turns to get the win, to lock himself in. And I was just thankful that he was one of the guys. But it seems like everybody had problems on the restarts here, and slipping up and losing grip. So, I was looking good for the set of tires I was on, but I don't know. I just it wasn't looking good there for a second. But I guess with all those wrecks, I lucked out. So.
Well, you're exactly correct. It did come down. It was going back a little bit farther. For the longest time, we were tracking the strategy that Chuck and Lilith did. They were both had pitted last around lap 84, and if it had just stayed green till the end, they were going to be a force to contend with, because everybody else would have had to come back in one more time. But then obviously just around that same time that he was coming down and Lilith was coming down onto pit road, the caution flew. And that changed the entire complexion of the race.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing. Lilith caught some luck tonight, too. I saw her coming off pit road early in the race, getting loose there. And I felt so bad for her. I just felt sick for her the whole race. And she caught some luck there at the end with all those wrecks and caution. So congrats to her. Congrats to Chuck for making the Final Four, and especially my good buddy James. Go ahead and thank some people real quick before I forget.
Go right ahead.
Any of my fellow Gladius Pax commanders in Last War watching. Jess the Goose, big old Beowulf. Those are just two names that pop off my head right now. If you know, you know. Thanks, guys. My Team Rocket Racing, James, Scotty, Chris. Sucks for Chris tonight. He was so fast. If that thing would have went green, he definitely was in contention to win that race too. Shout out to him. He's been kicking tail here lately. And just shout out to the league for majority of a really good race for a hard track to drive. It was so loose and so difficult, and we went a long time without any wrecks or cautions. It sucks to end it like that, but things are looking up for the league, that's for sure. Thank you, Rick and John, for putting on the broadcast. Thanks, Elliot, for putting on the league. Tech4Troops for being the best sponsor you could ask for, and good old Fender guitars.
There you go. All right, there's your winner, Mr. Christopher Worrell, here at Atlanta, as we close out the regular season and head next week to Phoenix. All right, John, any parting words tonight?
I just want to say congrats, Chris, on a win again. Honestly, never gets old watching you up here. Great skill, and congrats to all the Championship 4 drivers. And if you're watching this on replay, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You probably already are. But if not, if you're watching live, tune in next week. It's the championship. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog. Get everybody to watch, because you're going to see the 4 best in this league just put on an absolute battle a week's time for the championship. See if Lilith can go back-to-back. We haven't had a back-to-back champion. See if Chris can get it done again. See if we have maybe James Lowe or Chuck get it done. Obviously, 4 amazing drivers there. So tune in next week.
All right. Thanks, folks, for tuning in, and I hope you have a great night. Thanks again for watching us here on the IWM Broadcast Network. Good night.